Hello, I'm Natalie Lindo and welcome to a Business Line special brought to you from Arab Health 2021 in Dubai. The in-person event focuses on the latest medical technologies and innovative solutions, from state-of-the-art imaging equipment to developments in surgery to advances in prosthetics. The COVID-19 pandemic is placing enormous strain on the global healthcare sector's workforce, infrastructure and supply chain, accelerating change across the industry worldwide. Events like Arab Health are helping connect those parties. More than 20,000 healthcare, laboratory and trade professionals attended, including companies like Opencast. They manufacture malleable heat-molded casts for broken bones.
Compared to the conventional cast where you need skin protection, cotton in between the skin and the cast, our cast goes directly on the skin, meaning you can take showers, and because you can take showers, it doesn't smell, doesn't itch, the doctors can visually observe the skin.
Innovation and technology was also a key theme. CMR Surgical is a medical technology company that produces a robotic surgery system called Versius.
So it's for general surgery applications, gynecological procedures. We've also done colorectal and thoracic procedures. So the robotics offers a digital interface between the patient and the surgeon, and that information can be captured in the form of data.
From robotics to medical devices, this year's theme was about being united by business and driving the industry forward. One company exhibiting was Vocera. Their device was designed to streamline patient care.
It's a wearable device where we can activate it by voice and we can instruct or command the device to call someone. As we all know, cardiac arrest is a very serious case. Seconds matter, and what we can do is to give the opportunity for the nurse to notify the appropriate team. This is going to be decrease the time, and for sure it's going to give a better opportunity for the patient to live.
Earlier this month, the UAE became the first country outside the US to receive the newest antiviral treatment for COVID-19. Data's found that sotrovimab can prevent severe cases and death for some patients by more than 85%. Arab Health 2020 closed with deals worth €840 million, and that figure is expected to be exceeded this year. AI and technology are playing an even greater role in our daily lives, and many countries have developed strategies to plan and adapt. The Dubai Future Foundation work on future-proofing the city, from autonomous transport strategies to blockchain and looking at new ways to carry out business. Jane Witherspoon talked to Dr. Noah Rafford, its futurist-in-chief and chief of global affairs.
Dr. Noah, thank you for joining us today. That's quite a title. What does it mean?
It's a pleasure to be here. Those things comprise two different parts of our job that we do at the Dubai Future Foundation, one of which is try to understand and imagine how the world is changing, what the future might look like, and what we can do about it today here in Dubai. And the other part of it is, of course, we live in a globalized context. Dubai is the most cosmopolitan city in the world. There are more nationalities living here than any other city in the world. And so, evidently, anything we do is going to have to be done in partnership with people who live here.
So a little bit of your job is you predict the future.
It's always hard to predict. We try to imagine what the future might be like, because we never really can say with any degree of certainty what is actually going to happen. But if you look at the combination of science and emerging technologies and emerging social and economic trends, you can start to try to imagine how they might combine. Even in a place like Dubai, which is extremely fast-paced, people get very comfortable with the way they've been doing things. So part of our job in the foundation is to work with the people whose job it is to keep the lights on and keep the cars running and keep the streets safe, and try to open up what might be possible for tomorrow.
Obviously, we're all in the middle of still a pandemic, global pandemic. Did you predict that? Did you know it was coming?
Well, prediction's a little strong word. I'm sure you've heard the phrase often overused that the future is already here, it's just unevenly distributed. And because Dubai is such a global place, and because part of our role is to have a global network of experts and artists and designers, as the pandemic started to evolve and unfold in January and February in Asia and China, many of our friends and colleagues were there. And we started to see the impact it was having on those economies and the societies several months ahead. So part of, I think, being a futurist is being sensitive to these emerging changes and starting to think through how they might impact you. given that, take the pandemic, for example, we're all globally connected by airplanes. It's only a matter of logic and time that if something is occurring an 8-hour flight away, that it will ultimately arrive here. And so we sensitized ourselves very early to what sort of symbols might represent that arrival. And by the time it arrived, we were prepared, thankfully.
Geographically, when you look at where we are and food chains and how we can learn from it and climate change, how is that impacting life here in this region?
Yeah, massively, and it will continue to do so at an ever-increasing rate. I mean, the UAE, like many countries in the GCC, imports around 85% of its food, desalinates around 85-90% of its water, and leadership recognizes this as a strategic risk, but also a tremendous opportunity for growth, right? A tremendous opportunity for innovation, because there's a lot of downsides to the way we get food around the world. Desalinating water takes a tremendous amount of energy, produces a tremendous amount of impact on the environment. Same for meat, same for many of the things which we take for granted in our 21st century lives. So whilst these are tremendous threats, they also represent extraordinary stimulation and extraordinary opportunities for us to totally reimagine the nature of our businesses, the nature of our economy, the nature of our food chain, the nature of our own sort of sense of self and how we work together as societies.
Tunisia is being seen as a trailblazer in Mediterranean seaweed farming. Red seaweed, or algae, is used for gelling and thickening agents that are increasingly becoming a substitute for animal-based products in some foods, cosmetics and pharmaceuticals.
Seaweed farming is big business in Tunisia, and this harvest off the northern shores will be processed and sent to more than 17 countries around the world.
Our texturizing products are used in confectionery, baking and dairy items. We have developed a product that can replace animal proteins altogether. So there are nuggets that are based on our texturizing products and vegetable proteins. This means they do not contain meat, but we have a texture and a taste which resembles meat.
This is the group's first industrial-scale harvest after years of research.
What we do is that we put these algae, the natural biomass, in nets. We let them grow, and once they've grown, we collect 80% of the production and dry it. Then we roll it into balls and send the balls to the factory.
By 2023, they hope to reach 80 hectares of cultivated seaweed, casting the nets on a new generation of farming.
That's all we have time for in this edition of Business Line, but be sure to tune in again soon for a roundup of the biggest business and investment stories from around the globe. I'll see you then.